Beautiful people, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? I'm turning my fool out here. Hmm. How's everybody doing today? Huh? It's almost Friday, guys. Something is going around. Uh, I've been barely making it today. See, I'm drinking some hot. Hey, that's a little lipstick. Anyway, I'm drinking it up. Drinking it up. So, hi guys. How are you doing? I hope every single one of you are doing great today. I've got a great topic, and I just want to talk about like common reasons why your application may be denied. Because I think when I come live and people ask me questions like, what are my chances of winning? What they're basically trying to ask me is, you know, what are some of the things that could hinder me from getting a green card, or what are some of the things that could hinder me from getting my VAWA application denied, or what are some of the things that can hinder my asylum application from being, that can hinder my asylum application from being, approved? What could hinder my VAWA application from being approved? What could hinder my adjustment of status application from being approved? Right? Basically, that's what usually people are asking me when they ask me the question, Wafula, what are my chances of success? So I just thought today it'd be great to talk about some of those things because I think I've touched on them when answering questions, but never really came out with. So basically, to be honest with you, the number one reason why your application may be denied, whether it's VAWA, whether it's adjustment of status to marriage, whether it's asylum, usually is, you probably will guess it. So let me see if someone can guess it. What's the number one reason why you think most applications are denied? Okay. What's the number one reason why you think most? Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir. Someone said something so sweet to me on YouTube. Thank you. I appreciate it. So so let me see if someone can guess. What do you think is one reason why most applications are denied? Let me just see if I have someone to kind of guess it. All right, let me see. No one is guessing yet. Validity of marriage, that's one. Insufficient evidence of abuse, possibly. Lack of information, something like that. Something like that. I'm reading from Instagram, by the way, if you want to know where I'm reading from. Um, so I think those are all great guesses. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. To be honest, yes, thank you. Lying and inconsistencies. Lying and inconsistencies. That is just what gets most people. And I get sometimes that people want to, um, you know, kind of embellish the story, make it sound better, especially for cases like asylum and VAWA. But you got to be really careful. Like, if you go and you make up all these lies to make the perfect story, immigration is going to be looking at you. Your officer at the interview is going to be looking at you like, lies. We can see the lies coming. And they're going to be looking at you like, do you think we just started doing this today? Most immigration officers probably have been doing it more than 10 years. So imagine they've caught a lot of people in lies and inconsistencies. Lies and inconsistencies. And to be honest with you, especially in the African setting, the African community, doesn't matter where you're from in Africa, this is our number one issue. Either inconsistencies or fraudulent divorce documents. So either lies or inconsistencies or fraudulent divorce documents, okay? Or fraudulent, or making up a fraudulent marriage certificate or something like that, or making up a fraudulent, name it. These important documents that you need for adjustment of status to marriage or VAWA, you go and you have someone doctor it. That's the number one reason. To be honest with you, I'm not picking on anyone, but I'm just saying, these are my majority of clients, so I can talk about them. To be honest with you, for Nigerian clients, that's the number one reason why they're denied. Is usually because of a fraudulent divorce certificate or our improper divorce certificate. Or in other words, you come to the US and you find out once you're already here in the US that you were never really legally divorced. And that can happen in so many ways. Sometimes a person is innocent, just relied on their spouse who said, hey, I'll take care of the divorce. Let's just get a divorce. And maybe because the person was looking forward to their new life in America, totally believed their spouse, not knowing their spouse maybe went to someone who's cooking up, literally cooking up, cooking up the divorce certificate, okay? Or sometimes it could be the spouse, your spouse that you're relying on to get a divorce certificate. Maybe they didn't even know that the person they are using is fraudulent. Maybe they thought they're using a legitimate lawyer, only to find out the lawyer is not legitimate. Okay, so maybe they thought they were using a legitimate lawyer. Okay, only to find out that that the lawyer is fraudulent. Okay, so in other words, in Nigeria, again, I hate to say this, but it's just like this, the climate is so corrupt right now. So even sometimes an innocent person can end up with a fraudulent divorce certificate. Okay, or sometimes they know what they're doing. Okay, it's one of the two. All right, so for Nigerian clients, that's usually the top right now, especially. I mean, you can take it to the bank. If you're filing for adjustment of status to marriage, or if you're filing for VAWA, best believe the number one place they're gonna try to get you at, even before they get to your abuse, even before they get to the validity of your marriage, they're gonna look at that divorce certificate. They're gonna investigate. They're gonna find out, is the decree nisi, the decree absolute? Are they issued from the right courts? Do they have a proper number, a proper docket number? Can they be traced? Literally, they do that search. Why? Because it's just like sad to say, it's just like a known that if someone is coming from Nigeria, that the chances of them having an improper divorce certificate are higher than other people. Just like for Kenyans have a different issue entirely. Kenyans usually, our number one issue why our applications, I'm Kenyan myself, why our applications may be denied, is omitting facts, leaving out a child, leaving out twins, leaving out children out of your application. And then you get your 2-year green card. Then later you get your 10-year green card. And then now when you're ready to file for citizenship, that's when they get you. I mean, this is a big, big deal in the Kenyan community. Like, it's so huge. And one of the reasons why I like to talk about these on these lives is so that you who's listening can go and tell your friend, don't do that. You can go and tell your friend, okay, these are the common issues right now. When we're filing an application, let's make sure we've checked for this. Let's make sure, let's make sure we don't have any issues here. And then the other thing that Kenyans are, I won't say known, but it's a known thing in the immigration community as far as lies and inconsistencies, is putting on an application that you're a U.S. citizen or you're not. Now, this is even more huge than the first one. So for Kenyans, if you're Kenyan, you're listening to me, all right, or you're East African, please, the number one thing you should never, ever, I mean, ever, remember how I said it, I want to be dramatic. Don't you ever state on an application that you're a U.S. citizen in order to work or in order to vote or in order to gain some sort of immigration benefit. That's the one thing the immigration doesn't play about, because the way the system is set up, they don't really most times check are you a U.S. citizen. They just check if you're a green card holder or if you have status. But, especially a long time ago, 10, 20 years ago, no one really ever checked, are you really a U.S. citizen? And so because of that, if immigration catches you that on a previous application or on previous applications, you have indicated the box that you are a U.S. citizen when you're not, it's a big deal. And what I mean by big deal is that there's no waiver for that. So if you know something about immigration law, you know that anytime you commit an offense, including entering the country without a visa, including committing a crime, including having something fraudulent on your record, usually there's waivers. Okay, there's waivers, in other words, that you would apply for admitting you're wrong and asking for forgiveness. Okay, those are things like the 601 waiver, the 212 waiver. All right. So they are meant to, in other words, create a forum where you come clean to the government and you ask them for mercy. And usually they will. They will have mercy on you if it's well properly done and if you're honest. Okay. But the one thing there is no waiver for is claiming that you're a U.S. citizen. That's the one thing. Take it to the bank, please. Even, well, I just say Kenyans, but I'm sure Nigerians do it. I'm sure other people do too, but I just know for sure. I've been practicing for 8 years now, and I started off majority of my clients were Kenyan, and then now majority of my clients are Nigerian, so I know the difference. I could just tell you, I won't say for fact, but almost a fact that if I'm, in other words, let me put it to this way: if I'm having a consultation with a Kenyan, I want to make sure I screen them. I want to ask them, have you ever stated on an application that you're a U.S. citizen when you're not? Because I need to know that so I can defend them. Okay, so let's put it that way. All right. So if you're listening or you know someone who's put this on the application, there is possibly still a way for them, but it's not a waiver. And most times, to be honest with you, the solution I give at the consultation, most people don't like to hear it. So let's say you come to me, you've stated on an application that you're a U.S. citizen when you're not in order to work, and you did it for a couple of years, or you did it on a couple of applications. So I usually tell my people, and during the consultations, that you probably should go and approach your HR from all the different application jobs where you might have done that. Approach the HR department and just simply ask for a record of your employment record. And if you are able to find it on there, then usually I say that immigration can easily find it too. And then you should probably think about retracting in writing. Okay. So although you can't get a waiver for it, like you can't file a forgiveness form saying, I did this, please forgive me. What you can do is, if you retract it in writing, usually like well in advance before filing an application for immigration, all right, then usually it's deemed like, okay, maybe you just came to your senses and you're convicted about something you did that was wrong, and you basically corrected yourself. Okay, so in other words, the only solution to claiming that you're a false U.S. citizen, right, and the only solution to actually still be able to get your green card or your citizenship, even if you've done that before, is you gotta actually come clean in writing to the employers. So you gotta write just a quick statement saying, yo, something like, I worked here from 2010 to 2012. I stated I was a U.S. citizen when I wasn't. Okay. Or that was a mistake, something. You need to retract it in writing. Okay. So I can always discuss this more at a consultation. All right. But those are basically the common reasons. So lies, and more lies are the number one reason why your application will not be denied. It's usually never on the merits, especially if you have a lawyer who knows what they're doing. The reason why your application may be denied is because you're lying. Immigration knows it, and they can see it. They can you've seen on the movie, I can see from a mile away, or I can smell it from a mile away. Immigration officers who've been doing this for more than 10 years, more than 15 years, obviously they can smell your lies all the way from far. And especially different countries lie differently or have different trends of lying, just for lack of better words. And so depending on the country you're from, to be honest with you, they kind of just know what to look for. It's not fair, but it's the truth. So if you knowing that, then you need to make sure, first of all, use a good lawyer. Second of all, if you have something big, and I mean something big in the closet, that if when you go to the interview, immigration officers find out about it, you will not get the green card. You need to tell your lawyer. Okay, and I'll end with this story. So you guys know I've always said I've never lost a VAWA case, and that's absolutely true. I've also said that I started off doing adjustment of status through marriage cases and asylum cases. Again, that's absolutely true. Okay. I've also stated that on adjustment of status through marriage cases, okay, I lost a few. I would say I remember losing like about 2 or 3. Okay. But so this one, so I've said I'm just building the foundation. So one of the ones that I lost, right, taught me a good lesson. It was someone that I represented, all right, and we went to the interview. Meanwhile, I never go to an interview without prepping my client. That's one of the things, no matter how much time I don't have, I insist on prepping my client over and over. And even if I didn't have time to do it, like before I arrived in your city, because usually I fly up to your city, then I make sure I get there early the day before. And I try to spend like the whole day with you or most of the evening with you, like 4 hours, whatever with you. And I try to like prep you, drill you, ask you this, ask you that, ask you this, ask you that. So this was for a local client here in Memphis. So we get to the interview, and the client didn't tell me so many things. In fact, there were so many skeletons that came out at the interview. And they were to the point where I kept saying, objection, objection, you can't ask that. I objected to the interview. You can't ask that. But usually I would have told my clients, hey, especially for adjustment of status to marriage cases, you really don't want me, intervening much. You really don't want me objecting much, because just the act of me objecting like 2, 3, 4, 5 times tells the immigration officer they're onto something and that they're hitting a point somewhere. In other words. So even if they retract from that line of questioning and go another way, they already know he or she is lying about something, because the lawyer is over here really, really objecting. Okay. Okay. So the best thing is have your lawyer prep you. Okay, prep you thoroughly. But on top of that, the purpose of prepping is you're supposed to tell your lawyer these dark secrets, these skeletons. Okay, you're supposed to tell her, especially if she asked, especially if he or she asked you, is there anything I need to know about this application? Is there anything you want to tell me before we go to the interview? And you don't say, you just shut up. Then we get to the interview and we're bombarded with things that I never knew. So since there are things that I never knew, I mean big lies, like maybe you're hiding a spouse somewhere, or you're hiding a child somewhere, or like maybe you guys never lived together ever, okay? Or like maybe, I don't know, your spouse was pimping you. I don't know. There's so many big things. These big things you want to tell me. You want to tell me, or maybe you have a different sexual orientation and you're just filing this to get a green card. You want to tell me, especially if I ask you. Especially if I ask you, you want to tell me. Okay? But there's sometimes where I'm like, don't tell me unless I ask you. But most times you want to tell your lawyer, right? Especially before the interview, anything big that could be a huge hindrance to the application. You want to tell her, her or him, so she can know how to properly defend you. And in fact, not even so that she can defend you, so she can prep you on how to answer questions without revealing yourself. Okay. So that being said, I think I want to start questions. So in summary, lies, and more lies are big reasons why your application may be denied. Inconsistency in the application. Omitting information, like omitting a child, a spouse, omitting big things, big life events, and you know what I mean. If you've done it before, you know what I mean. Also omitting that you committed a crime before, or you did something fraudulent before. Like we said, maybe you stated on an application that you're a U.S. citizen when you're not. And then lastly, I also stated it could be fraudulent divorce certificates. All right. And again, right now, not always, it hasn't always been this way, but just right now, Nigeria is, well, let me just put it like this. Right now, if you're a Nigerian, they may want to check your divorce certificate to see is it proper, because there have just been so many people who have been caught with an improper divorce certificate or fraudulent divorce certificate. And I want to clearly say that sometimes it's without their knowledge. So maybe you are innocent about it. Sometimes you knew it. Sometimes you were just rushing and didn't pay any attention. So there's many reasons why. Okay. So those are the summary of the things that could hinder your application. You notice I didn't mention anything legal, because if you have a good lawyer, nothing legal should be an issue. So most of the things I've stated are lies. In other words, can be summarized with lies, lies, and more lies. And you heard when you were a kid, your mom, your dad told you that the funny thing about lies is once you tell one lie, you already know you gotta tell another lie to cover that up. Okay. Then you gotta tell another lie to cover that up. Then you have to tell another lie to cover that up. And then you end up, maybe you just wanted to lie about one small thing, but now you end up with a huge web of lies. And that's like the worst situation. You want to get to immigration office, you have a great adjustment of status to marriage application, you have a great asylum case, or you have a great VAWA case, one that would have otherwise led to a 2-year green card or 10-year green card or an asylum approval. And the only thing standing in your way is your web of lies, your web of lies. And again, I just want to say, I know people always think, not me, I'm not going to get caught, I'm praying. Yeah. I believe in prayer too. But there's a time where you're supposed to come out and say, you know what, I was wrong. And you're supposed to come out and say, I did something wrong. Okay? The law is so akin to the Bible. The whole doctrine of mercy also applies in the law. You heard of retribution. In criminal law, there's something called retribution. That's if you steal something from someone and they take you to court, all right, and you're able to restore the person back to their original state, I think, and plus add something. So maybe you stole $1,000 from someone and you show the court, Your Honor, I admit that I did it, but not only that, I gave back the $1,000 I stole plus an extra 500. Okay, that's called restitution. Okay, so and it's a biblical principle and it's also a legal principle. So restitution is actually found in the Bible. You can find the word in the Bible. I believe in Leviticus. All right, and you can actually find there's an actual doctrine of restitution in criminal law. We learned it. So a lot of the things in the law are biblical. So in other words, the best way, especially if you have this huge web of lies, that it's like if someone just pokes at it once, it's going to come crumbling down and you lose all your chances. Best thing, number one, talk to your lawyer about it, be honest. Second, go to the interview being accountable, knowing I'm just going to have to come out and say that I did it. I know it's the worst thing ever. I know it's scary. I know you feel like, well, what if? But I've just never seen a situation where one of my clients accepted their issue or accepted that they did something, a crime or fraudulent issue, all right, and asked for mercy and can show that they've tried to change or that they've tried to restore maybe the person they did wrong. I've never, ever seen it in my close to 9 years of practice now where the immigration judge will not forgive you. I've never really seen it where the immigration officer will not forgive you. There's just something about someone who can humble themselves and say, you know what I did was wrong. And you know what? I did this and this and this. Okay. And you may not be able to admit to all of it. But even if they just see you are able to admit to at least some things and you're not trying to lie your way out again, and they already know it's a lie, like I told you, they see lies coming from a mile away, then I'm telling you, you'll be looking at your 2-year green card if you're adjusting your status to marriage, or you'll be looking at your 10-year green card if you're adjusting your status to VAWA, or you'll be looking at your asylum approval if you file for asylum. Literally, it's that simple. It's a biblical principle and it's a legal principle. You could take it to the bank. Thank me later. Okay. I know some lawyers will probably tell you to try to lie, blah, blah, but in my experience, when I come out with it, then they're able to help. And to be honest, the truth be told, there was one time I made a huge mistake on the application, me as a lawyer. And the client found out. Actually, I think I told her. All right, but she found out, I think, before I told her. So when she had a conversation with me, she was really livid, and she said, she was very angry. And I said, sorry. First of all, I'm so sorry. I was gonna tell you, really was gonna tell you, and that was the truth. Okay, I told her. Okay, that was my staff's fault. Okay, I had new staff and I was trained. That was my staff's fault. I take all the responsibility. But you know what I told her? I said, I'm going to fix it. She said, how? You're going to write a legal? I said, no, I'm just going to go on the record and say that this issue we're having was my mistake, that this was my error. Okay, and I did that. Okay, I appealed, basically just writing an affidavit, a self affidavit for as an attorney, where I said, hey, I'm an attorney, I've been practicing so many years. At the time I had this and this going on. Then I neglected to see something that the RFE was asking for, and I also had staff. I neglected to check behind my staff properly. And in other words, I went on the record. Do you know when I went on the record? Do you guess what happened? Your girl got approved. Your girl got approved. So I don't have a clean VAWA record of never winning VAWA. Never losing VAWA cases without making mistakes. But when I do make them, I've just learned, let me just go on the record. Let me just admit to it, or let me fix it. Either way. And usually one or both of those will work. One or both of those will work. So in other words, even I have made mistakes. Sometimes these are just careless mistakes, not necessarily because I wanted to harm the client, obviously, but maybe we had a lot going on, and I didn't catch something on an application that I should have on an RFE response, and the person ended up getting denied. But look, we appealed. I went on the record stating my error, and guess what? She got a 10-year green card. So the Lord is good. So everything I'm telling you, I practice it even myself. In fact, this is even a principle that I talk about even with my staff. To me, I just always respect someone who can come on the record and say, I'm sorry, and I did this and this. But I know a lot of people struggle with this. But when you're the person who's been wronged, and someone did something wrong and they're not saying it, it's the most painful thing, because you're like, I'm just waiting on you to just come and tell me that what you did was wrong, and I'll forgive you. But the person is like busy trying to hold it, trying to hide it. And and it's hurtful, because you're like, well, the more you hide it, the more it's going to come out. There's a scripture that says, what's hidden in darkness will surely come out to the light. I'm paraphrasing. What's in the dark, in other words, will surely come out to the light. And that's why they say there's no sin that you'll do, some matter of time, you will get caught. You could start taking coke or heroin at the age of 10. You may get away with it for 20 years without anyone knowing, but one day somehow it's going to explode on you, and everybody in the world, everybody around you is going to know you're on coke. Everybody's going to know you're on heroin. All right. So you can hide it just for so long. You can hide it for a year. You can hide it for 5 years. You can hide it for 10 years. But eventually, if there is a God, and there is, if you did something wrong to someone, it's going to come out. That's why you see all these movies about men who have 2 wives, and in different continents. I think there was one, I think Matt Damon acted in it, right? Where he had was that Matt Damon, or was it some movie where the guy had I think 3 wives. And I think there was there's a black version of that too, like a black movie version of that, where person has 2 or 3 wives. Oh wait, Lawrence Tate. I think it's not Waiting to Excel, but it's that movie with Lila Rashawn, Mel Gibson, and it's about Frankie something. He was a singer. Dude had 3 wives. 3 wives in 3 different states. But they find out. Guess what they found out? I think it was close to his death, or after his death, they found out. And he did keep it hidden for a long time, but they found out. So in other words, ain't nothing you can hide like that long. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Let me start taking questions. All right, got a question? Come on through. Come on through. I'm having a question. I have someone who is interested to file. By the way, guys, I'm going to answer just 1 or 2 written questions. If no one is coming live to ask questions, I'll take it as a rest day. I'm not feeling too great. I'm under the weather, and I'm going to go home and sleep. So in 5 minutes, you have 5 minutes. 12:26, I'm off. It's 12:21 right now. So if you have questions, now is the time to come live on my IG. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, just jump to my IG and ask your questions. Okay. Let me see what this question was. So someone on YouTube said, I have someone who is interested to file for asylum, and the daughter is having green. I think you mean green card. Can she wait till that time or not? I am so confused by your question, Mr. Debayo. Can you rewrite that? Can you rewrite that? Can she file for what now? Citizenship? And what time are you talking about? I'm very confused. Mr. Debayo, you might want to rewrite your question if you want me to ask you. All right, you have a question. Let me see. Let me bring this person live. I'm bringing 2 people alive. At least we can have 2 people alive. I can finish. I can be gone for the day. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. My eyes are squinting a bit. Again, I'm under the weather a little bit, but I'll be fine. Like Nigerians like to say I'm strong instead of saying I'm sick. They say I'm strong. I'm strong. Can I apply for asylum to deny 45 and divorce? You can always apply for anything as long as you qualify. So the trick is, do you qualify? With asylum, typically, there's so many things that I don't have the strength to explain today because I'm not feeling too great. But with asylum, you need to have entered within the first year. I mean, you need to file within the first year of entering. There's some exceptions. I've won some cases where the person filed for asylum within 5 or 6 years, or even sometimes 7 years after entering. But usually, we have to have a good reason or excuse why. And then for asylum, we have to be able to show that you fled your country because of something you can't easily change about yourself, such as your religion, your political opinion, your race, your religion, your political opinion. Sorry, your race, your nationality, your religion, your political opinion. You can tell I'm not even feeling well. Your race, your nationality, your religion, your political opinion, right? And it could also be any other category like someone having experienced FGM, or your mother having experienced FGM, or you yourself experienced FGM, which by the FGM stands for female genital mutilation. Okay, that's always usually good cases of asylum, provided you can prove that you or someone you know went through it before. Usually, but it's better if you went through it or your mother went through it and you're running away because you're about to go through it. But still, even if you never went through it and there was a serious threat, like they were about to come pick you up to take you to be mutilated before you ran away, still a good asylum case. All right. Then there's things like uh, refusing to join a gang, things like those. So many other things. And the sexual orientation, of course. Let me take one more question. 12:24, 2 more minutes, guys. Remember I told you I'm here. So this is the last question I'm going to take for today. Hello, madam.
Hello, good morning.
Well, afternoon. How are you doing?
Oh, good afternoon. Yes. How are you?
I'm checking in.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yes, I have a quick question. I recently filed for an adjustment of status through marriage. But I just want after I file for that, do I need to file for a work permit or just wait along with the application I already made?
What?
Like I filed for I-130 not too long ago, and I wanted to know if I can file. I need to file for a work permit or just leave the application alone like that.
It depends. Is your spouse a U.S. citizen?
Yes, he's a resident.
No, is he a U.S. citizen?
No.
Okay,
no,
if he's not a U.S. citizen, usually you don't qualify for a green card. I mean, for a work permit yet. You're gonna have to wait till he becomes a citizen.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. That's the clarification I needed. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. If you need more, all right. Last person. 12:25, guys. Last person. Hello.
Hello. Hi. Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
How are you doing?
I'm alright. Actually, I just want to talk. I ask a quick question. Actually, I've done my interview last March, and it was approved for my I did I-45 and I-130 interview.
Okay.
But basically, thank you. Basically, because I was in a removal proceeding, so my green card wasn't granted to me that same day. The officer sent us a letter saying when the judge terminated my proceeding, that she sent back the letter to them, which I did by June. Mm-hmm. So since June, my case wasn't reopened, and recently, just last month, it was reopened.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was actually waiting for my green card, but for some reason, which I was giving my wife the information, like whatever happened, I told her. For some reason, she's not just happy that my green card is coming. And just 2 days ago, she filed for a divorce that was sent to me.
Okay, well, okay. Well, I think you need to give me a call so we could talk about your options. First of all, I want to say that green card probably is on the way. Well, have you checked the tracking number to see if they've issued a card? Usually, if they've issued it, they'll say card was issued.
Yeah, no. My case status simply say
I would call them
16 days ago.
I would call them and persist, and ask for info pass. That's the trick. Ask for info pass.
I've actually done that.
And so,
in fact, I lost my model.
Hold on, let me finish. Hold on. So if
I've told them that.
Let me finish.
They can do something.
Let me finish. I got you. I know what you're saying. Let me finish. So if that doesn't work, then give me a call. Maybe we need to talk because I just didn't want you to start a new process if your card was already coming.
Yes.
But give me a call.
I'll give you a call so we can go ahead and see what is okay.
Sure. Let me write my number down here. I think I put it here. Okay, you can go ahead and leave though. Thank you so much, sir.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye. God bless you.
I think I saved your number yesterday because I was on your show yesterday, so I always follow you. So I think I saved it yesterday.
Oh wow, look at you. All right.
Mm-hmm. So I think I have your number. Okay, I just saw it right now. So
thank you.
When can I give you a call?
Anytime you can call me now and schedule a consultation.
Okay. And aside that, I have so many. I would like to have so many proof of VAWA related cases, like videos of her beating me, photos of us sending my clothes out, messages upon messages of courses, doing all that. I have a whole lot.
Yeah, then you should have been called me.
I hope I'm not too late for that.
No, you're not. Just call me. You qualify for VAWA even if you're divorced. Okay, we just have to file it within 2 years of your divorce.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll call you, give you a call.
Thank you, sir. Take care. God bless
you. Bye. All right.
Have a great day. Okay, guys. Quick spiel on VAWA. Remember, you qualify if you're married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder and have experienced anywhere between common marital problems to extreme abuse issues. Anywhere between common marital problems to extreme marital issues. In other words, there's a wide plethora of things that could qualify you for it. So your spouse doesn't have to be beating you, doesn't have to have given you an STD to qualify. Those are the extreme cases. Your spouse could just be a controlling narcissist. Your spouse could just be controlling all the finances, controlling everything about you, right? Your spouse could just be, maybe you found out your spouse, has something big that they hid from you that had you known you weren't married, such as they have some mental or psychological issue, or that they're again, these are not bad things, or that they're gay or bisexual. Just things that you want to tell your spouse, someone you're going to spend the rest of your life with, supposedly, before you get married. Okay. Maybe you find out your spouse is impotent or your spouse can't bear children. These are big things. Okay, especially if those are things that you told your spouse you're interested in and you find out that they can't have children or they can't father children. Okay. I always say that's my job to prove the abuse. So that's the answer to sans pour divel. That's divel. You must be French. Divel. Ça semble comme le français. Anyway, you must be French. Francophone is the right word. Okay. Vous êtes francophone. Oh, I remember I used to love French. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, it's my job to prove the abuse, not yours. My job, not yours. All right, and then so I was saying, you qualify for VAWA if you're divorced, separated, married, still in the same house, okay, or even if you never got married. There's some states that you qualify for VAWA even if you've never gotten married, but you live in a state whereby that recognizes a marriage by habit. In other words, a come we state marriage or a traditional marriage. In other words, where you just start living together for years, you have children together, you have bills together, you start businesses together. In other words, to the average eye, they think you guys are married, but you're not. But this partner, this longtime partner that you have, who you've built a life together all these years, is abusive to you, or it's not a toxic relationship. Okay, so if that sounds like you or someone you know, and they live in a state like Alabama, New Hampshire, Texas, Colorado, South Carolina, Kansas, you need to have them call me. Have them call me. We could talk about it. I think Washington is one. I'm gonna have to check. All right, have them call me. Okay. All right, those are Alabama, Texas, New Hampshire. These are not all the ones, just the ones I know I've had. Alabama, Texas, Kansas, New Hampshire, Colorado. Yeah, South Carolina, Kansas. Okay. All right, guys. In my mercy, I'm going to take one more, but I don't know why. Better boy, I've seen you here a long time. You just wait until I'm about to go. I don't know why I do that. Seriously. Let me bring him in. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Well,
Thank you so much.
You took your time to come in. I said I was leaving minutes ago.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to know, for example, if you're in removal proceedings and then you got your TPS approved, can you apply for travel documents to re-enter the United States in order to
if I'm not wrong, I don't know much about TPS, but I'm pretty sure I think you only get TPS. Usually, you only get a travel permit. I mean, a work permit.
No, because they say you can apply for a travel permit.
So I just said, I don't know if you heard me. I don't know much about TPS, but my understanding is you only get a work permit. If you want someone to advise you on that, maybe seek counsel for someone who does TPS. I never said I do TPS.
Do you do removal proceedings though?
I do.
Okay. I'll just call you then.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, guys. You just got here. Sorry, the party's over. Ruthless. Party's over. I'm leaving. I was leaving. I'm gonna go eat lunch and enjoy my lunch. I don't know if I'm gonna try. I'm gonna say I'm gonna enjoy my lunch. All right, because taste buds funny right now. But I'm gonna enjoy. What if your spouse? I want to answer this question. I don't like answering written questions. Usually I prefer live, but this is a good question. I want to answer. What if your spouse abandons you in the middle of your joint 751 or wait for the interview? Then you need to call me, girl. Call me. I had a YouTube video where I did that. You need to call me because I've got options for you. That's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. You could either file a removal of conditions applications based on divorce. You could also do one based on VAWA, which VAWA is the easiest and fastest way. I've been putting up videos, cut up videos of my lives talking about this exact principle. I think I've been posting them the last 2-3 days. So just go check out my profile. You'll see exactly the answer you're looking for. And then you need to go give me a call. Let me help you out. That's the answer to blessing. Take care, guys. That's the answer to blessing. Blessing, that's your answer. Love you guys. Take care. Share. Don't be stingy as always. Share. All right, take care. Bye.